Finally, on the sixth day of the winter session of Parliament, we've been seeing some business, some productive discussions and debates. Now, while the India bloc wanted a number of issues to be brought up, the government conceded, which is why you're seeing today business happening. But it looks like within the India bloc itself, there are differences over what should be their biggest priority. We had reported this here on India Today yesterday. But today it was confirmed when there were protests that took place outside Parliament on the issue of Adani. Now, the Congress led that protest and several of their allies in the India bloc joined in. But the SP, the Trinamool Congress, very much in Parliament today, chose not to be a part of that particular protest, indicating clearly that within the India bloc, the SP and TMC don't necessarily agree with the Congress's strategy.
The absence of two parties speaks volumes of exactly what's taking place in the India bloc today. The Samajwadi Party and Trinamool Congress conspicuous in their boycott of the protest. Their MPs were very much in Parliament but chose not to be in the protest that had Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi in attendance.
You can see the leaders of opposition, including Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Vadra, Sanjay Singh, Manoj Jha, and various other opposition political parties have joined this protest. They are also holding a placard which reads Modi Adani are same. You can see as to how the opposition is now raising the issue of Adani, and the DMK has also joined this massive protest.
The differences, therefore, are clear. Allies of the Congress don't agree with the Adani narrative and want other issues to be discussed on priority in Parliament.
देखिए, फिलहाल हमारे जो पार्टी का नज़रिया है उस हिसाब से हमें लगता है कि संभल से ज्वलंत मुद्दा अभी कोई नहीं है और हिंसा हुई है, लोगों की जानें गई हैं, तो हमारी प्रायोरिटी संभल है. हम चाहते हैं कि चर्चा सबसे पहले संभल पे हो, हम सरकार से प्रेशर करें, उनकी जवाब दें.
Interestingly, the Congress seems to have climbed down from its Adani stance, saying now that they want other issues to be discussed too.
It was an opportunity, I think, to send a clear message that now we're about to cooperate in Parliament, where, of course, the government sets the agenda and they're the ones who decide as to what issues are going to be discussed. But as far as this is concerned, there's a whole range of issues we want to convey to the public, what are uppermost in the minds of the people. It's being simplified as a one-issue protest. It wasn't.
But today as well, the House saw repeated disruptions with Adani slogans being raised. Sample this. When Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stood to speak, the opposition MPs kicked off their sloganeering.
1934, the Banking Regulation Act 1949.
The government has lashed out at the Congress, accusing the party of resorting to disruptive politics despite an understanding.
देखिए, पार्लियामेंट में जैसा मेंबर्स का बिहेवियर है वो सब देश देखता है और पार्लियामेंट का बहुत तरीके होते हैं चलाने का. रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस, कन्वेंशंस, कई चीज़ें होते हैं जिसको पालन करना होता है. अगर पार्लियामेंट नहीं चलेगा तो देश कैसे चलेगा?
The differences in the India bloc are widening, particularly it seems between the Congress and the Trinamool. A rather public war of words is also playing out over who should lead the India bloc now.
जितनी बार वह अपमान करने के लिए बंगाल का, वहां की अस्मिता का आते हैं, उतनी बार उनका और वोट बढ़ जाता है. और जो उनका कद है, एक बहुत ही वरिष्ठ नेत्री हैं, सामने स्पष्ट रूप से साफ बात को रखती हैं. ममता दीदी सबको साथ लेके चलने वालों में से हैं. वह पूरा समय देकर, तैयारी कर उसके बाद ही लोगों को बुलाती हैं.
हमारे देश में लोकतंत्र है. लोकतंत्र में संख्या देखी जाती है कि किसके पास संख्या किसकी है और फिर एक जिसको कहा जाता है कंसेंसस से फैसला होता है हमारे देश में और पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन तय करेगा कि कौन किसका नेतृत्व होना चाहिए.
Has this parliament session exposed the chinks in the opposition's armor? Will the Congress now put their Adani narrative on the back burner amidst pressure from its allies? Bureau Report, India Today.
Seemingly embarrassing for the Congress that the SP and the TMC are not holding back in not being a part of these kind of protests and thereby sending out a message that, look, we don't agree with this kind of an issue being raised. I want to bring in Maushmi Singh, who's joining us live with more details on this. Maushmi, is there a rethink within the Congress camp on their strategy in Parliament because of how the SP and TMC have reacted so far to the Adani issue being raised? They've gone ahead and raised the issues that they want instead.
See, clearly, Akshita, perhaps the ambit of agreement has been increased. And, earlier the Congress was harping on the Adani issue, making it its ace attack. But clearly, with the chorus being very low as far as the India alliance is concerned, there were other pressing issues that the opposition allies wanted to be discussed, including situation in Bangladesh, including the fact that Sambhal was on a very precarious note as far as law and order is concerned. And that's one reason that now we've seen that the parties have raised several other issues, including Sambhal in the upper house and the lower house, where Ram Gopal Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav were very sharp on their attack. And several notices, in fact, the highest 42 number of notices were seen in the Rajya Sabha that were not only on the Adani issue, but were also on Manipur, also on the crime situation in Delhi, and on the pollution issue. So there are a host of issues that the India allies, apart from the Congress, want to rake up.
All right. Thanks very much, Maushmi, for joining us with those details. Tomorrow, you're going to be seeing the focus completely on Sambhal, as Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi are expected to visit Sambhal, or at least attempt to, because remember that there are prohibitory orders in place. Today as well in Parliament, while we speak about the highlights, one of the big talking points was the Sambhal rights. And leading the charge for the India bloc, for the opposition, was the SP MP chief Akhilesh Yadav, who lashed out at the BJP, saying this was a pre-planned conspiracy, that Muslims actually held back, exercised restraint for the longest time, and then had to, in fact, respond when they were fired upon by cops. So this is what Akhilesh Yadav said, prompting also a sharp retort from the government. Let's get your details of what played out in Parliament on the Sambhal riots and what to expect tomorrow, as this issue is only going to escalate.
Over a week after violent clashes in Sambhal, Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party chief and MP Akhilesh Yadav raised the issue in Parliament and blamed the BJP for the violent escalation.
ये जो घटना हुई है, ये सोची समझी रणनीति के तहत वेल प्लान्ड हुआ है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उनके सहयोगी और समर्थक, शुभचिंतक बार बार खुदाई की जो बात कर रहे हैं अध्यक्ष महोदय, ये खुदाई जो है हमारे देश का सौहार्द, हमारे देश का भाईचारा, हमारे देश का गंगा जमनी तहजीब को खो देगा। मैं आपका धन्यवाद इसलिए भी देता हूं कि
Akhilesh Yadav also questioned the timing of the mosque survey.
सोची समझी इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूं। 22/11/2024 फ्राइडे को जुमे की नमाज के लिए लोग नमाज अदा करने के लिए जामा मस्जिद पहुंचे, लेकिन पुलिस प्रशासन ने बैरिकेड लगा दिया ताकि लोग नमाज न पढ़ सकें। 29/11/2024 को कोर्ट की अगली तारीख तय थी, परंतु दिनांक 23/11/2024 की रात पुलिस प्रशासन द्वारा कहा गया 24/11/2024 यानी अगले दिन सुबह को दोबारा सर्वे किया जाएगा, और तानाशाही दिखाते हुए सुबह के वक्त से पहले शाही जामा मस्जिद आ गई।
On ground zero Sambhal, situation remains tense and prohibitory orders are still in place. Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi and his sister Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra are likely to visit the restive town on Wednesday. This after a Congress delegation was stopped from entering Sambhal on Monday. The Moradabad district administration has made it clear that Rahul Gandhi or any other political leader will not be allowed into Sambhal.
उनके ऊपर भी यही चीज लागू होता है, उनसे भी लगातार रिक्वेस्ट की जा रही है कि अभी संभल ना आवे बेहतर होगा। जो स्थिति है सबके लिए एक जैसी है। अभी जिलाधिकारी के आदेश से 10 तारीख तक सबके आने पर अभी भी रोक है। किसी को रोकना भी हम नहीं चाहते, बट यही है कि स्थिति में किसी तरीके का तनाव ना हो जाए।
Sambal erupted in violence on November 24 following a court-ordered survey of the Mughal-era Shahi Jama Masjid, which Hindus claim was built over a temple.
लगातार घटना को सरकार ने गंभीरता से लिया है। न्यायिक जांच भी चल रही है, उच्च स्तरीय जांच भी चल रही है। जो भी दोषी होगा कानून के तहत कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। अभी प्राथमिकता हमें वहां पर शांति स्थापित रहे, लोगों को रहने खाने में दिक्कत न हो, ये जिम्मेदारी हमारी है।
The Supreme Court has halted survey proceedings and sealed the report until the Allahabad High Court hears the Mosque Committee's appeal. With Piyush Mishra and Mosmi Singh in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's bring in Amit Bharadwaj on this broadcast, who's been tracking the latest coming in from the Congress camp on the Sambal riots. Amit, yesterday you had an attempt by a Congress delegation to visit Sambal. The local administration turned them away, saying no political party, no politician can visit Sambal right now, given that the situation still is extremely fragile, extremely sensitive. And even today, with the news coming in of the Gandhi siblings making their way to Sambal tomorrow, there have been appeals that have come in from the administration. And despite that, we're hearing that the Congress still plans to go ahead with their visit tomorrow.
Right, Akshita. You know, Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra intend to visit Sambal, or at least they will make an attempt tomorrow morning. What we are given to understand that 7 a.m. in the morning, Rahul is expected to leave Delhi and he will be heading towards Sambal. But the bigger question is as to whether they will be able to even cross the Delhi and UP border, because I'd spoken to the commissioner of Moradabad, Anjanay Kumar Singh, and he told me that the restriction imposed by the DM order continues to be there, which means that any political leader or any political delegation cannot be allowed into Sambal. And the reason is that they believe that while the law and order situation is under control, but it continues to be fragile. And they do not intend to have anybody in and around Sambal, which can trigger or escalate the situation and, again, create a state-to law and order situation. And we have to understand that while you have the Judicial Commission going on the ground, the forensic team is working on the ground, as well as continuously the administration is also speaking to the community leaders to ensure that nothing untoward again happens in the western UP township. Yeah. But on the other side,
no, and there are prohibitory orders. Yes. Prohibitory orders are in place till 10th December. The communication from the Congress yesterday was that we will wait till 10th and then visit Sambal. What's changed really in the last 24 hours that's prompted the Gandhi siblings to say, look, we are going to head there ASAP? Thanks very much, Amit, for joining us with those details. We'll see what plays out. Tomorrow morning, we're hearing that Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi from Delhi will make their way to Sambal, or at least attempt to do so. Clearly in a message or an attempt to grandstand on this issue, because their permission has not been granted and authorities have made it clear no political party will be allowed there. But speaking about what's happened in Sambal and Akhilesh Yadav's speech in Parliament today, he referred to the Places of Worship Act, saying as per this act, nothing can change. The mosque will remain a mosque in Sambal, which is true. But why is it then that you're seeing all of these surveys happening, all of these cases that are being filed, asking for surveys to happen to find out if it's a mosque or a temple? I explained to you what the Places of Worship Act is and how now petitions are being filed and why courts are even allowing these surveys to happen. With Hindu-Muslim tensions and mosque-temple spats ruling the news cycle, there's a heated debate on judicial rulings on these issues. And at the heart of it is the Places of Worship Act. The Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991 was enacted, yes, in 1991, at the peak of the Ram Mandir agitation, and essentially states that the religious character of any place of worship as it existed on August 15, 1947 must be maintained. Here's the most important part of the Act. Section 3 of the Act bars the conversion in full or part of a place of worship of any religious denomination into a place of worship of a different religious denomination, or even a different segment of the same religious denomination. To dump it down for you, essentially, if it's a Muslim place of worship, it can't be converted into a Hindu place of worship. The law, which has been a part of the Congress's 1991 election manifesto, was meant to put to bed all controversies arising out of the alleged historical conversion of a place of worship. Now, while introducing it in Parliament, the then Home Minister S.B. Chavan had said, and I'm quoting what he said, the enactment of this bill will go a long way in helping restore communal amity and goodwill. But it's important to also note here that the Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute was specifically kept outside its purview, outside this Act's purview, as the dispute was already sub judice when this law was passed. The Supreme Court itself had, in its 2019 verdict in the Ayodhya title suit, read the guarantee offered by the Places of Worship Act as part of the basic structure of the Constitution. I'll just read out for you the Supreme Court ruling, an important line here. The state has, by enacting the law, enforced a constitutional commitment and operationalized its constitutional obligations to uphold the equality of all religions and secularism, which is a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So why then are there even petitions being filed seeking conversions of places of worship and surveys and whatnot? That's because of what happened in the Supreme Court in August 2023. The then Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud led a bench which permitted a survey to be carried out at the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi to examine whether the mosque has been built on a temple. So does that essentially go completely against the Places of Worship Act? Not really, because here's what the ex-CGI said. While noting that there could be no conversion of the place, Chandrachud said the structure's original character, as he put it, could always be determined. This essentially means that an inquiry into what the nature of the place of worship was on August 15, 1947 can be allowed, even if that nature can't be subsequently changed because of the Act. But then, it wasn't just Gyanvapi. Later that year, a local court in Mathura admitted a plea seeking the transfer of the land of the Shahi Idgah Mosque in the city to a Hindu trust for the construction of a temple at the Krishna Janmabhoomi, leading to a heightened chorus of Ayodhya Jhaki Hai, Kashi Mathura Baki Hai, which essentially translates to Ayodhya is done, Kashi and Mathura are pending, are next. So while the title suits or suits essentially claiming access or the right to worship in Varanasi and Mathura continue, there's also, interestingly, a constitutional challenge to the Places of Worship Act 1991 that's pending before the Supreme Court. The Apex Court currently has before it 4 separate petitions that challenge the Act itself, that challenge the Places of Worship Act. In September 2022, a bench that was headed by then CJI UU Lalit had directed the government to file a response on its stand within 2 weeks on this issue, on the Places of Worship Act. 2 years on, however, the centre is yet to actually file its affidavit. So even as the Union Government and Apex Court are taking their time on this issue, several pleas have been filed before high courts, before local courts, seeking surveys of mosques, not to change the place of worship, but to determine what exactly stood there before. In Agra, there's a plea seeking an ASI survey of the Jama Masjid. In Karnataka, a plea seeks a survey of the Jamia Masjid in Srirangapatna. In Rajasthan, a plea claims that a Shiva temple lies below the Ajmer Dargah. Surveys have been conducted of the Jama Masjid in Sambal and of the Bhojshala in Dhar, Madhya Pradesh, and that list goes on. So now that we've told you about the Places of Worship Act and how these surveys are happening, let's just elaborate on the last point I mentioned, which is the number of cases that are currently in court. There are at least 10 such cases right now that's playing out in the courts. The first one, we're all well aware of what's happening in Sambal, the Jama Masjid, where you had a lower court that allowed a survey to be conducted, but right now the survey order has been halted by the Supreme Court. The claim made by the Hindu side here is that this masjid has been built over the Sri Harihar temple by Babur. Now the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi. This was in 2023 that the Supreme Court ruled on this, that's allowed all of the surveys to happen because it was allowed in Gyanvapi. The claim was that the mosque was built over the Lord Vishweshwar temple by Aurangzeb, by the Mughal emperor. The survey was allowed, but said very clearly, and the court order said very clearly, you can't change anything about the structure, keep the structure intact. Then you have the very, very contentious Shahi Eidgah Mosque in Mathura. The claim is that this mosque has been built right over the temple that was there for the Krishna Janmabhoomi site. Now, at this point, the hearing is underway in this particular case. The Hindu side says we should rightfully have a temple at the Krishna Janmabhoomi. Then the Ajmer Sharif Dargah in Ajmer dates back to so many centuries ago. The claim is by the Hindu side that this site was originally a Shiva temple. Right now, this particular case hasn't really been taken up by the court. Notices have been issued on the petition, so we'll have to see what the relevant authorities have to say on this. Now, the Qutub Minar, iconic monument in Delhi. There is a structure within the Qutub Minar which is a mosque, and the claim by some petitioners in this particular case is that it's been built with the ruins of Hindu and Jain temples, of about 27 Hindu and Jain temples. In this particular case, the hearing is still underway, and we'll have to see what really emerges, because this is the iconic Qutub Minar we're talking about. In Bhojshala, this is in Madhya Pradesh, you have the Maula Mosque, the Maula Masjid. The claim is that this masjid was built over the Saraswati temple. The survey was actually allowed over this particular mosque. And so at this point, the hearing is underway because the survey is done, the report yet to be taken up by the court. Let's talk about in Uttar Pradesh, another point of dispute. In Badaयूं, you have the Shahi Masjid. Now, the claim is that this was built over a Nilkant Mahadev temple. At this point, it's in courts. The hearing is underway. We don't know yet if the court will allow a survey or not. Now, in Lucknow, too, there's a masjid that's being claimed as having been built over a demolished Hindu structure. Again, a petition has been filed in this regard. The hearing is underway. We don't know yet if a survey will happen. There are so many. Jaunpur in Uttar Pradesh, you have the claim that a mosque here was actually first a temple repurposed as a mosque by the Tughlaq dynasty. Again, in the courts, the hearing is underway. The Sheikh Chishti Dargah in Fatehpur Sikri of Uttar Pradesh. Now, the claim is originally this was a Kamakhya temple. Notices have been issued on the pleas, after which, once you get responses, you'll see the court take up the issue of whether a survey can be conducted. One very important aspect of this, and remember there was a case even filed over the Taj Mahal, claiming this was originally a temple called Tejo Mahalya, a Shiva temple. This was a claim made, petitions were actually filed, both in the lower court and in the Supreme Court, all of which was dismissed. So even the Taj Mahal has been claimed as that to be a temple earlier and for a survey to be conducted. So this is a long list of cases that are underway right now in court. Some dismissed, in some cases surveys allowed, in some we still don't know what will happen. We will, of course, continue getting you all the updates on that legal front. But in Parliament, besides Sambal, what else was brought up? There was a large discussion that took place on banking reform. Let's get you a roundup of all of the big statements, the big headlines from Parliament today.
इससे पहले मेरे ज्ञानी मित्र बोल रहे थे, उन्होंने एक है तो सेफ है कहा। मैं कहूंगा ठीक कह रहे थे। जब recognition of the problem in the banking sector, recognition of the problems in the banking sector, and then recovery and resuscitation, recapitalization of the public sector banks और reforms, जब ये चारों आयाम एक हो जाते हैं तो public sector banks safe हो जाते हैं।
I respect your view that you would remove the name of former Chief Prime Minister. Equally, I think quoting Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji in the context of he said she was Durga, we all respect Mrs. Indira Gandhi for her achievements. Of course, we equally remember her for emergency. But I think it is important, Vajpayee ji's name being quoted as though he said Mrs. Indira Gandhi is Durga is contentious. There's no proof. There are enough people who said he has not said that. Therefore, even that statement that Vajpayee ji said this should be equally removed.
Our neighboring country, Bangladesh, where the minorities and Hindus are being tortured and being killed. Sir, what we making appeal that let the government of India appeal to United Nations for sending peacekeeping forces at Bangladesh immediately. Our appeal that let Minister of External Affairs come to the Parliament and intimate us at the latest position of Bangladesh, what is happening over there. Whatever decision government of India will take, West Bengal government will stand by the decision. We want to work together.
एयर पोल्यूशन सिर्फ दिल्ली का मुद्दा नहीं है, पूरे उत्तर भारत का मुद्दा है। लेकिन क्योंकि एयर पोल्यूशन का सारा दोष देश के किसान पर मढ़ा जाता है, आज मैं उस किसान की आवाज उठाना चाहता हूं। IIT की एक स्टडी बताती है सर कि स्टबल बर्निंग एक कारण है एयर पोल्यूशन का, इकलौता कारण नहीं है। कोई भी किसान जानबूझकर अपनी खुशी से पराली नहीं जलाता, मजबूरी में जलाता। मैं एक समाधान लाया हूं सर, अगर आज हम एक शॉर्ट टर्म सोल्यूशन पंजाब के किसान को या और हरियाणा के किसान को भी 2,500 रुपए प्रति एकड़ देते हैं इस पराली से निजात पाने के लिए, तो पंजाब का एक भी किसान पराली नहीं जलाएगा। इसमें 2,000 रुपए भारत सरकार दे, 500 रुपए पंजाब सरकार देगी।
एक्ट में प्रावधान है, अगर ये राशि निश्चित उद्देश्यों की पूर्ति में खर्च नहीं की जाती तो इसको रोका जा सकता है। पश्चिम बंगाल ने, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, बड़े बड़े कामों को छोटा करके कुछ निश्चित लोगों को लाभ पहुंचाने का अपराध पश्चिम बंगाल की सरकार ने प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना का नाम बदल के अपना नाम इन्होंने रखने का अपराध किया है। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, उस योजना के अंतर्गत भी अपात्रों को लाभ दे दिया और पात्रों को बाहर कर दिया गया। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, ये राशि दुरुपयोग के लिए नहीं है।
Great to see parliamentarians debating and functioning finally on day 6 of the winter session. And remember, Parliament is still on. They're still discussing the banking reform, which is great to see.